MG, an old British company now owned by SAIC Motor Corporation, which is now based in China, have made a few interesting cars over the years, much like this MG Metro here, the MG VGT, and a whole heap of other different MGs and cars that you probably all forgot about. However, they're still going today, somehow, with another brand new MG. And it's this thing, weighing in at just over 2,500 pounds with 105 horsepower and 101 foot-pounds of torque. This is the MG3 from 2015. So what we're going to go ahead and do is load that in and go and try it out. And also, this will be next week, so keep an eye out for that. Now, these things are pretty common in the UK, so if you're a Brit, you've most likely seen these. In fact, I saw about 2 to 3 of these just last week. So, having a look at this thing, it does look incredibly thin, especially towards the back of it. And yeah, it's an interesting little body shape, especially at the front. Don't know what to make of that front bumper. From the inside, well, it's an MG, it's kind of modern. It's about the same that you see on pretty much every modern car now. However, let's go ahead and take a listen to this thing's stock. So here we are at the custom upgrades, and we've got a whole heap of things that we can do to this. Now, starting off, we're going to go straight over to conversion, and we're already going to prep this thing for drag racing by throwing it onto all-wheel drive. And yeah, looking at engine swaps, we've only got 3. However, we have the fancy little Honda engine. We also have a 1.6 litre inline-4 turbo rally. And we have an inline-4 motorbike engine. I think we're probably going to stick with that one, just because why not? But yeah, we'll come back into that one in a little bit, because first I want to see what sort of power we can get out of this thing by not just doing drag racing, but by building it up as an A-class race car. And we have stock exhaust versus... well, it's not completely horrible. So we'll go ahead and probably put in an intake and upgrade our turbo for sure. Let's see, what do you do down here? Oil and cooling. And that takes us to 758, so now we've got to think about... we'll go and put some brakes on this thing. Yes, definitely sport brakes at least. And tyres, we need good tyres. So let's go and put... can we get away with... nope, we're going to have to go sport tyre compound. So we'll make it a little wider in the front and extremely wide at the back. And there we are, 508 brake horsepower, A800, and let's go and put that in and go take a look at the paints. So going to the paints, we don't have any advanced painting options, but we do have a whole host of different manufacturer colours. We've got a usual white, we've got a red, we've got a very deeper red, an orange, that is bright. We also have a bright yellow, and we also have, ooh, I like that, that's a nice shade of blue. That's a really nice shade of blue as well. We also have, ooh, we have racing stripes. We've also got a black, grey, and a slightly lighter grey. You know what? We're going to go racing stripes. And here we have the Playa Azul circuit. I do not want to change the difficulty. I want to go to start race events because we're taking the MG3 and putting it through its paces in A-class. So away we go off the line. Let's see what this tiny little vehicle can do. At the moment, it's getting outpaced by a whole bunch of other cars in a Mini. So, turning-wise, it's kind of okay. We're battling yet another Mini up here, but in terms of straightaway speed, we are getting absolutely demolished. Apart from, when it comes to down here, can we get on the brakes in time? Yes, we can. No, we can't. Oh, dear. Okay. Can we actually do anything with this car? I hope we can. That's a place for us. Can we get 5th? We're really kind of... oh god no, we're all over the place. Nope, that's not going to work. Okay, if we're sneaky and a little bit of brute force, which was not intended, but we've managed to get ourselves a 4th towards the end of lap number 1. Let's see, can we make that any better? Oh, that's not good. Okay, we've gotten past 3rd somehow, just coming up on the edge of 2nd now. Come on. This thing is very, very tricky to get right. We have to brake so much in advance because of our sport brakes. In fact, we're not on race brakes and or race suspension, or race anything suspension really. Let's see, we've still managed to get a second. Just gotta carefully try and get around first now, which is... Hey, it's a Vauxhall Corsa. I didn't know somebody brought Charlie out here. Only a couple of people that I know will understand that one. If you do, well done. Oh dear. Should be focusing on where I'm going. Right, somehow we've managed to get first. Now let's see if we can hold it to the end of the race. And as we come up to the final bend, if I just slam on the brakes very, very quickly to make sure I can actually get turned, as my frame rate completely breaks too, we go across the line, somehow still in first. How we survived that, I will never know. But we did it. Now, let's go drag racing. Okay, so now we're over here to go and make this thing into a drag build. And I want to see what this does. Because, well, we all know how powerful this thing is in tiny cars like the Peel Trident and the Peel P50. And also the BMW Isetta. However, ooh, it might not be as powerful in this thing. As heavily funny as it be, I don't think we're actually going to go with that. We're going to go with probably the 2-litre in line 4. So we'll go ahead, upgrade that, and then go and take it drag racing. So here we are now with 720 brake horsepower in a tiny little MG3. It is of course using our Honda engine, so let's go ahead and floor it off the line and go and see what this tiny little thing can do. It's certainly quick, but is that good enough to make up for its kind of top speed thing, I guess? No. I mean, it's alright. We're going to go ahead and put some road tyres back on this thing and go and see if that makes any difference out on the open road. So here we are now back out onto the motorway with our wonderful tiny little MG3, which is a nice little car, but it's not exactly the quickest out on the drag strip. But we do have 720 brake horsepower now, so let's try and see how quick we can get out on the open road. Because we're already up in 6th, if this thing hits 200, I will be impressed. Okay, I'm impressed. As you can tell, it really doesn't take much to impress me. Anyway, this thing has got 200 and Jeep, so let's go ahead and just ignore that, and we'll move on to the downhill. So something I've found out about this thing is it's actually surprisingly nimble. Even though this thing is tiny and doesn't have much speed, it can certainly dart in and out of traffic at an alarming rate, let's just say that. I keep looking back, so there was a Mercedes back there, I kept thinking it was trying to race me. Anyway, let's go ahead to the downhill stretch here, and I want to see if we can get maybe 220. Let's see if we can set that as a goal, 220. It's nearly there. It's hit it. It's hit 220. How? God knows. But we did it. We've got 220 out of a tiny little MG. It's quite surprising, really, especially seeing how badly it performed out in the drag strip with this engine. It actually performed fairly decently on road. To see one of these flying past at 200 miles an hour would absolutely be terrifying, but okay. Next, the last thing we've got to do is we've got to see if it can drift. And now, I know I said I wasn't going to use the motorbike engine, but, well, I'll go on, let's try it. Now, I'm not expecting this thing to be entirely brilliant, but let's at least give it a go. We'll go ahead and slide this thing in here. Yeah, it's not the best because of the motorbike engine, I think, doesn't give it enough torque. Let's see, 26,000. It's not great, but it's also not horrendous. Okay, so I just found this one that says Formula Drift MG, so we're going to go ahead and download that and try it out. But in case you want to try it out too, there is the share-code. The tune is not my own, but it is made by Nelly P. So let's go ahead, download and install that, and give that a run for a second go, and really hope it's good. So we're now running just over 660 horsepower. That tune has the Turbo Rally in it. So let's go ahead, slide this thing. Oh, yep, Turbo Rally is definitely the way to go with this thing. 39. It would have been 39,000 had I not messed up the end there. So let's go ahead and try that just one more time. I think this thing might be on drag tyres. Why is the drift tune on drag tyres? I will never know. But yeah, I think, honestly, this thing might actually be pretty good if you give it to somebody that knows how to drive it, which Definitely isn't me. I'll tell you that for nothing. But since this thing has drag tyres, I just want to go and try one very quick thing. It does have some downforce at the front, which is definitely going to limit it, but who knows at this point? Anything can and probably will happen. In fact, that includes my console having an absolute meltdown. Hopefully this doesn't affect this week's recording. Anyway, we'll go out to first, we'll just go ahead and launch this thing off the line. I just want to see what it does. It's all kind of all over the place. Well, let's see. 159, so it is slow, but then again it does have the downforce thing at the front. But there's definitely a lot of potential that this car can have. And it's up to you, the wonderful audience, to go and take this thing and go and do something with it. In fact, if you have any absolutely ridiculous, crazy builds that you make, go ahead and share them in my Discord server. Link is always in the description. But yeah, this thing, it's okay. Oh, and before I forget, you get this thing for 25 points from Spring of Season 4, well, Series 4. But yeah, it's okay. It's not completely horrendous, but it's not completely brilliant either. It's just your average little runabout. But oh well, what can you do? You get cars like this in Forza sometimes that are kind of okay, but kind of not. And yeah, I will go ahead anyway and see you all in the next video. I've been rambling for a little bit, but yeah, thank you very much for watching. Leave a like if you've enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, leave a comment. I try to reply to as many as I possibly can, and I love to read them all because there's some really interesting comments sometimes. And I will go ahead and see you all in the next video. Thank you very much for watching. Tech out. Okay, but I wonder what I could actually do with this thing.